I've lived in this house for 7 years, and during that time, a lot of equipment has come and gone. At first, everything was Powertec and Titan Fitness, and I only used half of my garage so I could park my truck in here. And then about 2 years into starting this channel, I converted the entire garage into a gym and switched to almost all commercial grade equipment, including Body Masters, Nautilus, Rogue, Fettle Fitness, and Iron Master. Now I've gone back to my roots, and once again, almost every single piece of equipment is Powertec. During this tour, I'll include updates on all of the machines that I've previously reviewed, and I'll include plenty of cool and unique exercises. The 2-car garage is about 400 square feet with a 10-foot ceiling, and I've always used horse stall mats for flooring, and they have never done me wrong. I've got the nearly 3-inch thick Gorilla Tape connecting the 4x6 horse stall mats and covering the gaps. And I have a radiant barrier on my garage door, which helps keep it cool in the summer and warm in the winter. I also have a bonus room above the garage, and that wall is connected to the house, and both of those things help to keep this garage warm in the winter. A couple years ago, I added a second breaker out here so I could run 2 space heaters at the same time, and that has kept me from needing to buy a split unit. And I lift so early in the morning that even during the hottest months of the summer, it never gets too hot out here while I'm training. The Powertec Functional Trainer Deluxe is my newest machine, and it honestly gets used more than any other piece of equipment out here. The number of quality exercises that I can do on this machine is nearly countless. It's got 200-pound selectorized stacks on each side and dual weight horns above each stack so that I can load each side to a maximum of 500 pounds for a grand total of a 1,000-pound max weight capacity. After I sold my last functional trainer, I lost the ability to perform exercises with 2 independent cables. But I also no longer had cables with a mid-range origin sight. So safe to say, I am extremely happy to have a functional trainer back in my garage so that I can perform horizontal rows, chest presses, flies, and reverse flies, just to name a few. This machine also has 17 sliding tube settings per side and an extremely nice multi-grip pull-up bar. I've had 4 Powertec power racks over the last 17 years, and this is the newest model, the PR19 with the 1,000-pound max weight capacity, 29 settings with closer hole spacing in the bench press area, the same extremely nice multi-grip pull-up bar that's on the Functional Trainer Deluxe, and I've said it many times before, this angled grip is the best pull-up grip that I have ever used. I also added the height extenders to this rack, so now the pull-up bar is about 7.5 feet tall. I added a second set of J-cups for bar storage, the battle rope attachment, mainly for strength band exercises, the fixed band pegs. I have the landmine attachment, which I use for barbell storage, and I have the weight horn add-ons, which can hold quite a few plates, and when those are loaded down, it adds a lot of stability to this rack. I've had the Powertec lap machine in my garage for 2 years. This is the newest model with additional reinforcements behind the shroud, and like the Functional Trainer Deluxe, there's the option to go plate loaded, selectorized, or a combination of the two for a max weight capacity of 500 pounds. One of the features that separates this lap machine from pretty much any other lap machine on the market is the ability to swivel the seat out of the way so that when I'm doing tricep pushdowns or bicep curls, I don't have to stand back to clear the seat. Instead, I can get a vertical line of drive. I also really like how compact this lap machine is when compared to others on the market. And the reason it has such a small footprint is because this selectorized stack runs side to side rather than front to back. I just love the way this back wall looks with 3 of Powertec's flagship pieces in a row. The Hypercrunch is the Powertec machine I've had in here longer than any other. I mostly use this elevated on a 16-inch plyo box so that I can get a deeper stretch when I do my dumbbell hip extensions. But it can also be used for horizontal back extensions, ab and oblique work, and it works extremely well for glute ham raises. I had the Rogue A-Room GHD, but I sold that because I like performing glute ham raises better on this bench. The Titan Fitness seated leg curl leg extension machine has been with me almost since the beginning of home gym hacks and reviews, and this machine would have been gone years ago if not for the 35-pound plate hack. I can't see myself buying a selectorized leg extension leg curl machine because this hack completely transforms the resistance profile for both exercises. I also want to point out that I added a seatbelt that's made for the Nautilus pullover to this machine, and it just helps keep me planted for leg extensions and leg curls. The new Powertec linear bearing Smith has become one of my favorite pressing machines. Thank goodness it has a vertical bar path with a 600-pound max weight capacity. It also has 13 bar settings, an extremely nice pull-up bar, and the nicest bar that I have ever seen on a Smith machine. This is an extremely tall Smith machine, one of the tallest Smith machines I've ever seen. At 5'9", I can barely reach the pull-up bar, and standing inside, I can do a standing overhead press with a full lockout. There is a downside to how tall it is. There is a little more side to side. I could negate some of that if I didn't have this on the slope in my garage and if I had more plates on the storage posts weighing it down. The only critique I have for this Smith machine I mentioned in my review, and that's that I would like this bar to travel all the way down to the ground so that I could do some back exercises, but if Powertec did that, they would need to shorten the height of this machine because these guide rods are already so long. If they went all the way down to the bottom, there would be more side-to-side movement. But again, as I mentioned earlier, I mainly got this for a pressing station and it works great for that. The Powertec seated calf raise has seriously benefited my calves. When I prepared for my bodybuilding show, I only did belt squat calf raises and calf raises on this machine, and I think my calves became one of my standout body parts. The Cybex Eagle abductor adductor is the only commercial grade piece of equipment I have in my garage, and it's one of the machines that I got from Fitness Equipment Empire, and now that I know more about the used equipment business, I will never buy from that company again, and if I would have waited a little longer, I would have gotten a machine like this from Temple of Gains. The Powertec leg press hack squat combo is my newest leg machine. Most of these combo machines have so many shortcomings, but I think Powertec did a really good job and this machine checks most boxes. The hack platform is huge, and at 5'9", I can get the depth I want on this machine. The leg press platform is decently large and I can hit my desired depth. I made a couple modifications to the leg press option for this machine, like the squat wedge, which helps me account for my lower back issues and lack of ankle flexibility. Of the two exercises, I like the hack squat better, and I never thought that I would say that because my worst bodybuilding injury came on a hack squat machine, and that's why I have the lower back issues that I do. I also really like how small of a footprint this has while still having a 1,000 pound max weight capacity. I won't talk about the machine that's behind me, but stay tuned over the next few months. I have two benches. First, the Powertec FID bench, and I don't think there is a sharper looking bench on the market than this one with the black and yellow pads. And then I have the greatest bench of all time. I still don't know what it is. It might be a really good homemade bench, but this was passed down to me from my dad. It is at least 40 years old. Along with the bench, my dad passed down all of the plates I have, and I have 24 45 pound plates, which is pretty rare for a garage gym. And this fixed dumbbell set going from 10 to 105 pound increments was also passed down to me, and it is one of my most prized possessions. As I've mentioned before, I am extremely lucky that my dad was a bodybuilder and had a home gym, and because he gave me all these plates and dumbbells, it allowed me to spend my money on machines and equipment rather than plates and dumbbells. For plate storage, I have the Powertec weight tree, and I have 3 of the exact same Marcy dumbbell stand to house all these dumbbells. And when it's time for dumbbell exercises, I have the discontinued Titan dumbbell shelf, and this is the only other piece of Titan fitness equipment I have. I really like the amount of open floor space I have with my current layout, especially with how many different machines and pieces of equipment I have in here, and all of this open space is largely because Powertec's equipment is so compact. I only have 4 bars, 3 of which were passed down to me from my dad. I have a close grip bar, an easy curl bar, and an old Texas power bar. And the Rogue Narrow multi-grip camber bar with the 9-inch sleeves. If I went with the 15.5-inch sleeves, that bar wouldn't fit with my present equipment configuration. I do really like the bar, although there is that one QC issue I mentioned in my review. At one point in time, I had a lot of cable attachments, including the knockoff mag grips and some of the attachments from Prime, but I have since downsized to what's behind me. Probably my most used cable attachment are these revolving D handles, and these came off of my first Powertec Streamline functional trainer. I still use an old tricep rope. I do really like the functional trainer bar that came with this machine. I also really like the Porter PhysEd Eclipse grips, the GymPin 20-inch light D handle. These cable extenders with my Grizzly ankle cuffs get used a whole lot, but my favorite and most versatile cable attachment is the Atlas bar. This attachment helped me battle through a really bad bout of golfer's elbow. It can be used for curls, tricep pushdowns, pullovers, and more. You'll see that I swapped out the foam pipe insulation that comes with it to a yellow pool noodle to match my Powertec equipment. For those of you who are new to my channel, I recently competed in my first bodybuilding show while training only in my garage gym and almost exclusively with Powertec products. A couple other things I think are worth pointing out. First off, my custom home gym water heater hider. And you've heard of wall control? I call this hole control. And this is additional storage. I have my grip globes back here, ab straps, and all kinds of other stuff. At one point in time, I had banners from Rogue, Rep, Fringe, and Iron Master, and I took down all of those and sold them and then put up my own banners. Even though these mirrors make it difficult to record out here, they are invaluable for form checks and flexing sessions. All of them came off of Marketplace, and they were either sold for next to nothing or given away for free. Next, let's step inside. A few years ago, this bonus room was packed with equipment, and now it's completely empty. These walls have suffered a lot of battle scars from all the equipment I've moved and reviewed in here, so I'm not sure if I'll ever put equipment back in this room again. What was first the Powertec gym, and then the Iron Master gym, and then the Powertec gym again, is now my office. Over here, I have the shadow box that my wife made me for my birthday, and this showcases the 3 first place medals that I got in my first bodybuilding show. On this first shelf, I have one of my most prized possessions, my bodybuilding DVD collection that I've been collecting since 2005. I have most of the Generation irons, of course, pumping iron. I have one of C.T. Fletcher's, one of Kevin Levroni's, a couple from David Henry, 2 from Dorian Yates, the one Generation iron did, and of course, Blood and Guts. I have 2 from Mike Mincer, his HIT video, and then his seminar. I have a couple of the BC training videos. These are really hard to come by, but I like them a lot. One from Justin Harris and one from Jason Wojo. I have all of the Battle for the Olympias, including the 2-1-2s. I have all of Jay Cutler's and all of Ronnie's. And when I met Ronnie, he was cool enough to sign The Cost of Redemption and The Unbelievable, which in my opinion are the 2 best bodybuilding DVDs of all time. On the second shelf, I have my bodybuilding book collection, which includes Arnold's Encyclopedia and a whole lot of the HIT books. I also have some of the magazines on this shelf, which includes one of the old Muscle and Fitness with Ronnie on the cover, an even older Muscle and Fitness with Dorian on the cover, and an even older Iron Man with Mike Mincer on the cover. I have more of those magazines down there, and some of my really rare and hard to come by books are in these plastic cases, including Heavy Duty 1 and Heavy Duty 2. And no office would be complete without a samurai sword. This one goes back to my martial arts days, and this is a little bit nicer than the ones that are mass produced. Ronnie is my favorite bodybuilder of all time, and as I mentioned a second ago, I was lucky enough to meet him. I have Ronnie's Iron Idol. These things are really hard to find nowadays. So this is kind of my little shrine to Ronnie Coleman. I no longer have the Concept 2 ski erg or rower, but I did keep the bike erg, and this helped me prepare for my bodybuilding show. And here I have the treadmill from the run. I was going to do a review for this, but I put a poll on Instagram and asked if there was much interest for it, and there wasn't enough interest for me to take the time to do a review for this. And to be truthful, I'm really not very happy with this treadmill. It's just too narrow for me. Jay is probably my second favorite bodybuilder of all time, and I have the signed poster of him back there. I have the 8x10 I got with him, and I have an 8x10 that I got with him at this most recent bodybuilding show. I also have a bunch of other 8x10s down here, including one from Ronnie, David Henry, Phil Heath, Gunter, and I even have a signed 8x10 from Mike Mincer. I have some artwork on the walls from my 2 favorite bands, Tool and Deftones, and I had to honor Jean-Claude Van Damme with the Bloodsport poster. Let's see what the wife and dogs are up to. Business as usual. Now it's time for the obligatory request. If you are going to purchase a Powertec product, please consider using my only equipment company affiliate link. It helps me out, but way more importantly than that, it lets Powertec know that I'm helpful to their brand. I also have a Powertec Europe affiliate link, and both of those links can be found in the description of this video. And if you found this video helpful or at least entertaining, please consider liking the video and leaving a comment. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And remember, if your equipment lacks, I got the hacks. Take care, everyone.